This summer, the biggest World Cup in soccer history is coming to the United States, Canada, and Mexico. But there's a problem. If you've never watched a World Cup before, or if you've watched one but felt lost halfway through, you could feel lost from the very first match. Because the 2026 World Cup is unlike anything you've ever seen before. Not 32 teams. 48 teams. Not 64 matches. 104 matches. Not just one country. The US, Canada, and Mexico. Now let's be honest. Do you know what most people think when they hear these numbers? It's too complicated, I won't understand this. And right then, they put down the remote and switch to something else. But here's the thing, understanding this tournament isn't hard at all. All it takes is someone to explain it to you in the right order, in simple terms. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. By the end of this video, you'll have answers to all these questions. How are the teams divided into groups? How does a team get eliminated? How can a third-place team still stay in the tournament? And how does one team out of 48 eventually become the world champion? If you're ready, let's get started. Let's start by asking this question: what makes the World Cup so special? The answer is simple but powerful. It's not the clubs that play here. It's the nations. The player stepping onto the field isn't playing for Real Madrid or Manchester City. He's playing for the country he represents. Behind him aren't just a club's fans. There's the hope of an entire nation. If they win, the whole country pours into the streets. If they lose, they go home, and for some players, that World Cup opportunity may never come again. Because the World Cup is held only once every 4 years. Think about that. A top player's career at the highest level is short. Many players may only get 2 or 3 real chances at a World Cup. Some of the world's best players never even lifted this trophy once in their careers. Some never even made it to the final. That's why every match feels different. Because everyone on the field knows, this opportunity might never come again. The easiest way to feel this emotion is to pick a team. It could be your own country, the country of a player you love, or even a country whose flag you like. It doesn't matter. The moment you pick a team, the tournament becomes something entirely different for you. You're no longer just watching, you're living it. Now let's move on to how the tournament works. I promise, it's not nearly as complicated as you might think. 48 teams are entering the tournament. These teams are divided into 12 groups, with 4 teams in each group. Think of a group as a small mini-league. The 4 teams play against each other within the group. So each team plays a total of 3 matches. A short 3-match window, your first chance to stay in the tournament. What determines the outcome of these 3 matches is the points system. A win is worth 3 points. A draw is worth 1 point. A loss is worth 0 points. It looks very simple on paper, doesn't it? But wait. Because what happens in these 3 matches is like a movie script. Imagine a team. They lose their first match. Everyone says, they're out. But in the second match, they rise from the ashes, and in the third, they manage to advance from the group with a single goal. Another team wins their first 2 matches, thinks they're safe, gets complacent in the final match, and gets eliminated, heading home. And here's a question for you: do you think a team that draws 2 of its 3 matches did well or poorly? Most new viewers would say poorly. But sometimes those 2 small points turn out to be worth their weight in gold, keeping a team in the tournament. That's why nothing in the World Cup is as it seems. There are 12 groups, and this drama is unfolding simultaneously in 12 different places. So, at the end of these 3 matches, who moves on, and who goes home? The top 2 teams from each group advance directly to the next round. With 12 groups, that's 24 teams. So far, so good. But here's where the most confusing and most exciting part of 2026 begins. The story doesn't end with the top 2 teams. You know those teams that finish third in their groups? Well, they still have a chance. These 12 third-place teams are compared against each other, and the 8 with the best records stay in the tournament. Do you realize just how crazy that is? You could finish third in your group and still not be eliminated, as long as you're better than the third-place teams in the other groups. So how does that feel in practice? Let me explain. The final group matches are played simultaneously. A team finishes its match, heads to the locker room, and sits there waiting. Because their fate is no longer in their own hands. Miles away, in another city, another match is being played. A single goal scored there will either keep this team in the tournament or send them home. Stop for a second and imagine this. You're not on the field. You can't even touch the ball. There's nothing you can do. You're just staring at a screen, waiting for the ball at another team's feet to decide your fate. This is one of the most nerve-wracking, heart-stopping moments of the World Cup. And in 2026, this feeling will grip more teams at the same time than ever before in history. By the end of the group stage, a total of 32 teams remain. And now, everything changes. Because up until now, you had the luxury of making mistakes. You could lose a game and bounce back. A draw could keep you in the running. You could even finish third and still advance. That luxury is over now. There's only one rule in the knockout rounds, and it's ruthless: the loser goes home. That's it. Now think about what's going through the minds of the players stepping onto the field. One wrong pass, one wrong moment, a split-second lapse in concentration, and a country's 4-year dream is over. There's no coming back. No second chances. Can you feel that pressure? Because the players feel it. And that pressure reflects in every move on the field. Every pass is more cautious. Every defensive play is more tense. Every goalkeeper's rush out of the box makes your heart race. That's why knockout matches feel completely different from group stage matches. You're no longer just watching a soccer game. You're watching a battle of nerves. But what if the match ends in a draw? Draws were possible in the group stage. But here, there has to be a winner. Two teams can't advance at the same time. So what happens? If 90 minutes aren't enough, the game goes into extra time. Another 30 minutes total, split into two separate halves. But these 30 minutes aren't like the ones before. The players are exhausted. Their legs are heavy, their breathing labored. Right here, at the most exhausted moment, the smallest mistake exacts the heaviest price. And if extra time isn't enough, that's when football's most ruthless, most beautiful moment arrives. Penalties. A player takes the ball and finds himself face-to-face with the goal from 11 meters out. The goalkeeper is waiting on the line. Tens of thousands of people in the stadium fall silent in an instant. All over the world, in homes, cafes, and on the streets, millions of people hold their breath. And in that moment, it's no longer just a shot. Every match he's played up to that point, every step he's taken since childhood, the pride he felt the day he first put on that jersey, it's all contained within that single kick. A goal sends an entire country pouring into the streets. A missed penalty is talked about for years. And a goalkeeper's save turns an ordinary man into his country's hero. We'll delve into the psychology behind penalties in a separate video. Because in that moment, it's not just about technique. It's about fear, pressure, courage, and memory. But for now, remember this: in the knockout rounds, every match must have a winner. What happens next? How do the knockout rounds progress? From 32 teams to 16. Then to the quarterfinals, meaning 8 teams. Then to the semifinals, 4 teams. And finally, until only 2 teams remain. Half the teams are eliminated in each round. This massive journey, which begins with 48 teams, slowly narrows until only one match remains. The final. The 2 teams taking the field in that final are the last 2 remaining after 104 matches, dozens of eliminated nations, and countless tears. The final isn't just a single match. It's a summary of everything that came before, all in one night. And at the end of that night, only one of the 48 teams becomes world champion. Now let's put it all together, because you can now see the full picture. 48 teams are divided into 12 groups. Each team plays 3 matches. The top 2 teams advance, and the best 8 third-place finishers join them. This brings 32 teams into the knockout stage. From there on, the loser goes home, the round of 16, quarterfinals, semifinals, and the final. That's it. The entire system boils down to this. But here's the best part: once you understand this, the way you watch the World Cup completely changes. You're no longer just seeing a score on the screen. You're thinking, how does this result affect the group? You're wondering, is this draw enough for them? You're reaching for your phone to check what happened in the other match. You're getting immersed in the game. Because the World Cup isn't just about finding the best team. It shows who stands tall under pressure, who shines at the right moment, and who turns a single moment into a story that will be remembered forever. Sometimes the heavy favorites are eliminated early. Sometimes a country most casual viewers overlook dances on the biggest stage in history. And now you have the information to follow this story from start to finish. If you've made it this far, here's a favor: subscribe to this channel. Because throughout this summer, I'll be breaking down every aspect of the World Cup right here. How does offside work? Why is VAR so controversial? What goes through a player's mind during a penalty kick? I'll explain it all, just like today, in a simple and clear way. In the next video, I'll answer one simple question: why is this new 48-team format completely changing the history of the World Cup? See you there. Because you don't need to be an expert to understand soccer. You just need it explained in the right order. Soccer explains simply. Football understood deeply.